Hi guys, it's Vicki here, Greenville, Texas. I thought I would start with a different approach today. You know, I'm always thinking I wish I could remember to share a little cooking tip with you, something that you can kind of take with you, because I love it when I'm watching cooking shows and you pick up some tip that makes it easier for you in the kitchen. It doesn't have to be this big bang theory. It could just be some little something. I call them pearls of wisdom. So today I thought I would start with sharing one of my tips. It's not a cooking tip per se, but it's an organizational tip that might help you. I love looking through my cooking magazines on the weekend. I like to come out here on the porch with a cup of coffee. Of course, I look through my Paula Deen magazines and Bon Appetit magazines. And so my system for being able to keep track of recipes, when I find a recipe that looks good, that I think I want to try out, I use these little stickies, and there's a different color for entrees, appetizers, side dishes, desserts, and vegetables. And I just mark them that way. So next time I'm looking for an entree, a new dish that's something I've seen before in a magazine, it's so easy. I just go to my magazines and start looking for the red tabs until I find what I want to try. So anyway, that's my tip for being able to always stay organized and put your hands on some cool recipes that you've seen in your magazines that you were dying to try. I hope you can use that one. So now let's head on in and we'll start cooking. Hi ladies, so we're back in the kitchen. Today is enchilada day for me. It's entree week, round 2 of entrees. I've been trying to perfect a recipe for chicken enchiladas, and I'm not quite there yet, but I do have a beef enchilada recipe that I've been making for quite some time with Philadelphia cream cheese, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. So we're going to start by getting our brown chuck on to cook, so if you want to head on over to the stove with me. So we're going to start with our brown chuck, and we have got the hot skillet going here, and we've got 1 pound of brown chuck. And it's 80-20, which means it's only 20% fat. We're just going to put a little salt and pepper in here. Let this get nice and brown, and then we'll start adding the rest of our seasoning. So we've got our ground chuck browned, and I've drained off the excess fat. There wasn't a lot, but there was a little bit. And now we're ready to start adding all of our other ingredients. So we've got about 1½ teaspoons of finely chopped garlic. It's just, you know, 1 little pod. We've got 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. We've got 1 small can of green chilies. It's 4.5 ounces, depending on your brand. Just give that a quick little stir. And we're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. There we go. And 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And now we're going to just let this incorporate and get warm, along with some salsa. It's 16 ounces of salsa. It's thick, chunky salsa. Can you see all those chunks of tomato? And this is medium heat. We like a little heat, so this is medium heat. You don't have to put medium in. And as soon as this is all nice and heated all the way through, then we're going to come back and add our star ingredient, cream cheese. So this has been heating for about a minute and a half, and we're ready to add our cream cheese. Doesn't that look great, all those colors? Whew. So we're using 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. I've used 1/3 less fat. You can use regular if you like. And I just kind of cut it up a little bit so it'll melt a little bit faster for us. And as soon as this gets melted and well incorporated, we'll come back. Hi ladies, so our cream cheese is all melted and it smells great. The cream cheese is just the binding agent for this, and it makes it so smooth and creamy. And we're just going to add about 1.5 cups of Mexican cheese. It's Mexican 4-cheese blend, so it has some Colby and cheddar and quesadilla cheeses in it. It's really good. And it only will take a few minutes for this to melt. And then we'll assemble. Hi ladies, so our filling is ready. We're ready to start stuffing our enchiladas. I just got to make sure this meets my standards. It's perfect. Has a little bit of kick to it from that chunky medium salsa. So we're going to use half a cup of filling in each enchilada. These are large flour tortillas. So with a large shell, you should be able to get 6 really nice full enchiladas. And you're just going to take this and roll it over, tuck it in a little bit snug, and then place it in your casserole dish. You want to be sure and place it seam side down. That's really important. And we are just going to keep repeating the process. With a half a cup of filling, roll it over, tuck it in, and put it seam side down. So this is the last enchilada, number 6. We're just going to roll this bad boy up, place him in the pan. Okay, so now all we need to do is to take 16 ounces of thick salsa and put it across the top. You know, we used 16 ounces in the beef mixture that went inside, and then we're using another 16 ounces for the top. And just kind of spread that across. And I like to use, you don't have to, but I like to use a little bit of enchilada sauce. It just has a different flavor. This is a 10-ounce can, and I just use about 5 ounces of it. Yep, it's about perfect. It just adds kind of another layer of flavor to it. So we're just going to cover this with foil, and I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake this for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to pull it out of the oven and top it with some cheese. And I think while that's baking, I'll mix up some Mexican rice to go with it. Hey ladies, our enchiladas are ready. It's been 30 minutes in the oven. They are steaming hot. They're smelling delicious. Now all we're going to do is put about 1.5 cups of cheese on the top, and then we're going to put it back in the oven just for a couple of minutes to melt the cheese. This is smelling so good, and I'm hungry. I had a light lunch today, so I can't wait to try this. Hey, did you ladies check out my apron? You know, last weekend was Mother's Day, so I'm sporting this cool new mom apron, which I just love. You know, I have 2 gorgeous daughters, and I have to confess, they're technically my stepdaughters, but I do not like the title step, so I never use it. But I tell you that simply to say the fact that I came into their life a little bit later and that they're stepdaughters makes it so special that we're able to have such a neat relationship, and I get Mom's Day presents. It's so cool. So I'm just going to stick this in the oven and we'll be right back. So our enchiladas are done. We've got the cheese all melted and running across the top. I made a little bit of Spanish rice, Spanish Fiesta rice while the enchiladas were in the oven. And just mix a little bit of salad with some fresh green tomatoes I picked up at the market last weekend. So while I get that going, I'm going to get my salad going, and then we'll plate up some enchiladas. Doesn't that look absolutely fantastic? It makes such a pretty plate. I cannot wait to dig in. We just got a simple little salad going, a little bit of Spanish rice we made while our enchiladas were in the oven. We've got all these bright colors going on. The flavors are to die for. I love the thick, chunky salsa. You must use thick, chunky salsa. You want those big chunks of tomato and green chilies. And that cream cheese on the side just is to die for. I'm going to finish my dinner, and I'll see you guys back here next week. Bye.